This episode is brought to you by HASA. Liquid is clearly better. Liquid chlorine is the highest purity, works immediately, has no added cyanuric acid or calcium, and it will leave your pool safe, clean, and clear. And by the Bottom Feeder professional grade battery powered vacuum system. It sucks to clean pools, so cleaning pools sucks less. Get $100 off with code DVB100.
This episode is brought to you by Skimmer, the #1 pool service software in North America. With Skimmer, you can streamline your schedule, grow your revenue, and keep your customers coming back with 5-star service. Whether you're a one-person operation or an established team, Skimmer is your partner in success. Visit getskimmer.com/poolguy to try Skimmer for free for 30 days.
The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show.
Hi, welcome to the Pool Guy Podcast Show. In this episode, we're going to talk about bugs in your pool. So a little departure from algae, and we're going to cover, or Terry actually is going to cover all the different kind of bugs that can get into your pool, ways to prevent them, ways to treat bug infestations, and kind of all that good stuff around bugs. He'll also talk about, if you stay tuned to the end, about the trade shows he's going to be at, and also some of the courses he's teaching. So if you are going to trade shows later this season, you definitely want to stay tuned into the episode to the end of it. And Terry's going to touch on HASA's trade show schedule for 2025 and early 2026. Are you a pool service pro looking to take your business to the next level? Join the Pool Guy Coaching Program. Get expert advice, business tips, exclusive content, and get direct support from me. I'm a 35-year veteran in the industry. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, I've got the tools to help you succeed. Learn more at swimmingpoollearning.com. But let's switch gears here. You want to talk about bugs in the pool for a little bit.
Yeah.
And what kind of bugs you want to focus on? Because there's a lot of bugs.
There are a lot of bugs. I think there's some pretty common ones. And I actually just finished or wrote an article that it's in the October Ipsen newsletter. So you might want to check that out. And I think probably one of the most common ones, and the reason I brought this up, it kind of seasonal, and it's this time of year when it gets colder. I hear that you guys had a little bit of rain, I think, more recently down there. So you start to get rains. It's getting colder, and what will happen is that tends to drive the worms out of the ground. So one thing that kind of inspired this with me is I had a customer here because we got our fall storms up here in Seattle moving in a few weeks ago. And I guess they had a pool where every worm in Seattle headed into the pool. It was raining, and so they came out of the ground, and he's like, "Oh, I've got hundreds of these worms, in my pool, and what do I do?" And the first thing to state on that is chlorine is not going to keep them out, so you can't shock the pool and think the worm's not going to like the chlorine, because worms are pretty stupid. Maybe they're not, I don't know. They can't see. So basically what happens is when you get any kind of like lawn, dirt, soil, any of that's coming in contact with your pool deck, or even having planters on the pool deck, right? And worms can get in those. When those get oversaturated, you get a rainstorm, something like that, the worms are going to come out. They're blind, they can't see, they just start moving, and they end up in your pool. And they don't care whether it's super chlorinated or not, or whatever. They end up there, they kind of fall in. So the big thing there with the worms, there are some tips. One of the tips is if you can do anything to create a better barrier between a lawn or dirt or soil between the deck. So that's where you have maybe something raised up, like you have a little bit of a brick, raised up, rock raised up or something around the level, because the worms won't climb. They won't climb. So that's one thing that may be doable, not doable, whatever. The other thing is you can get what they call lime at an agricultural treatment. You can put this powdered lime around between the deck and the soil. And what that does is it changes the pH of the soil. And the worms do not like that change in pH, so they will not go towards that. They'll go away from that. So that's one of the things you can try, but they're pretty gross to get in there. They're pretty gross when they're in your skimmer basket. You got to remove them, right? They're hard to get out of a pool sometimes. They kind of stick to the wall and everything. But that's a big one, especially this time of year because of the rains and the colder temperature. They're coming out.
We should mention they stink really bad too.
They do stink. Yeah, and that's where chlorine can help. That's where the chlorine it can help there. You know, like a good shock of chlorine will knock that odor down, and it'll actually, you know, decompose anything that's in there. It's kind of gross to think about, but it is part of being a pool professional. But prevention, you can find ways of prevention, and then, you know, like I said, if you can get that lime powder, spread that around, and keeping potted plants and things like that further from the pool or pool deck, that's another thing. The other one is the bugs. We call those, I think they're called sow bugs, but they're also called pill bugs. That's another one that kind of seasonally we see. You typically see those all rolled up like a pill in the bottom of the pool. Usually
call them roly polies here.
The roly polies, yeah. Pretty common, right? Yeah. And more particularly, again, at certain times of the year. One of the things I learned about that is that they are very attracted. So maintenance is a big thing there. And they're very, one of their food sources is algae, actually. They're attracted to algae. So if they sense any algae, they're going to head for the pool. Any kind of environmental debris. And I think you, at least for me, when I did pools, I noticed the pools where they were the worst were also the pools where I had the most leaves and a lot of debris in the pool. So they're attracted to that debris. They're attracted to plant debris. That's a food source, anything like that. And again, if you have anything on the deck that's heavy, like plants, trees, leaves, all around, they are attracted to that. Maintenance is a big part there. So, you know, if you can keep the pool as clean as possible, keep it chemically treated, stay on top of that algae, they won't be as much of a problem. The other thing is they do come from from the soil and the environment. So there's pet friendly, human friendly sort of pesticides you can put down in the ground that will resist them. I talked about in this article also ants. Ants can be a big problem as well, especially seasonally as well. Like in the summer when it gets really dry, ants are looking for water. So they start to head towards the pool, any source of water, and they'll burrow in any area around the pool. So if there's cracks, anything, holes, things like that, and then they end up in the water as well. The problem with ants, some ants, is that they bite and they sting. So if you get any ants in the pool and they remain living for any period of time and somebody gets in the pool, they can get bit or they can get stung, particularly if it's a fire ant. Real simple thing there. And I guess spiders would be one too, that sometimes you get spiders around the equipment area. That's where they're more notorious. And ants. The ants will actually burrow in pump motors, and they can ruin the pump motor.
Seen that before.
Yeah, I've had that. I actually had one where that happened as well. So believe it or not, every pool pro probably, well, at least in Southern Cal, if they have DE filters, they've got diatomaceous earth. And so if you have any ant where they burrowed or ant hills, ant colonies around the pool or whatever, you can sprinkle a little DE around there. And that's a safe sort of non-toxic way to get rid of those ants. The other one, and that also helps for spiders. If you have areas where spiders are, you can sprinkle some DE around, and that will repel or get rid of the spiders. The other thing is, if you have, if you're going to do any borate treatments, you have some boric acid, a little bit of boric acid. You can sprinkle it over ant hills or in the areas where spiders are, and it's a safe a safe pesticide. The one thing I do say to pool pros, if you're going to do that, is you want to talk to your customer first too, though. Let them know.
Yeah, there's something on Amazon that I order all the time. It's called the Terro Liquid Ant Bait, Terro, like Terry Arko. It's Terro, and
Yeah.
this is like liquid borate, and you just snap the tip
There you
of it
go.
off, put it on the ground, and it's
Yeah.
amazing. The ant actually dissolves; their body starts to dissolve in it. It's kind of scary.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how borate or boron works. They ingest it, and it it actually kind of dissolves their insides
Yeah,
from the inside out.
very effective. What about the backswimmer bugs? Do you have those in Seattle?
We do. And again, with those, it's primarily maintenance. They're very much attracted to algae or any sort of environmental debris, that could be in the pool. That's what attracts them.
And the Pool Guy Podcast Show has teamed up with UPA to bring you affordable, reliable liability insurance starting at just $64 a month. Get up to $2 million in coverage, and the members of my coaching group get an even lower rate. Protect your business and your peace of mind. Sign up with UPA today by clicking the link in the podcast description. And then what I do with those, I just kind of chase them around with my leaf net, skim them out, and then step on them. They're really fast, and it's kind of a challenge. And it's they actually, their sting is like a bee sting or a wasp sting.
They do bite or sting. Yeah.
So you gotta just be careful.
So that's another one.
Yeah.
The other thing with thinking about and there's flying ants. That's a whole nother thing that will end up in pools. But wasps, bees, all those kinds of common things, and a lot of that is seasonal too. And unfortunately, bees and wasps and all those are the most active in the summer, and that's when we want to use the pool the most as well. And the thing is, they're looking for water, and so that's what they want to do. A couple things there are one is you can set like wasp traps and things around the pool perimeter. There's those electronic zappers that you can get, things like that. But as far as a pool goes, with flying insects, enzymes can help quite a bit because enzymes change the surface tension of the water, and the bugs know that and they feel that, and so they're not so much likely to land on the water. If they do land, they're going to sink pretty quickly and die. So that's another solution there.
I've heard you can also create like a secondary water source, maybe like in a shady area, and then the bees will go there instead.
You can have like a bird bath or something, further away from the pool. Again, up here, we where I am, we struggle with the yellow jackets, particularly in late August. And, we have just these simple traps, which they'll, you put a little bit of cola or something in the bottom of them, and they go into these traps and then they can't get out.
There's in the low desert here in California, we have something called boatmen bugs. I don't think they're found in too many other places. I did a video on that, and it has like 100,000 views because it's a pretty crazy bug that's like resistant to chlorine, and they fill the pool, like thousands of them fill the pool up.
Yeah. And again, that's probably a matter of some minor pesticidal control, things like that from the source where they're coming from. But those can be they can be annoying.
Yes. So I think on that list, to me, worms are the worst because I have to clean them up. I'll use my vacuum system and fill that bag up to the top with worms. And of course, the blade shreds them. And so it's almost like a horror movie massacre when you're dumping out that bag full of worms, and they've been in the pool for a few days, so they stink. Almost where you gag. That's how bad they smell.
They can be bad, and certainly not pleasant to deal with.
It's probably, to me, that's the most common here too, the worms. And
Yeah, and it's like I said, it can be seasonal when it starts to get cold and it starts
Mhm.
to get damp and you start to get rains. That's when they'll emerge from the ground. And the one thing, like I said, is if you can have any kind of barrier between dirt or grass
Mhm.
and the pool deck, that'll go a long ways in
Mhm.
keeping them out.
I should also mention when they're on the deck and the sun comes out, then they kind of dry and
They
turn into the
fry.
black
Yeah,
things you can't get off the deck.
yeah, fried worms.
It's kind of funny,
Doesn't that sound good?
right? Yeah. So I'm sure the pool guys and gals appreciate the bug talk,
Yeah.
Um, so you're going to be hitting the trade shows. You're in Vegas, and then are you
Yes.
going to the anything in Arizona or California?
Yeah. So the basically I'm going to be doing some instructing at the Vegas show. So HASA doesn't really have a booth at the international show, but we are going to have a presence there. And I am teaching a class on Thursday, October 23rd at the International Expo. It's going to be an abridged version of Bob Lowry's Pool Chemistry for Service Pros. That's going to be at 8 a.m. It's an hour-long class. But then I also will be, so we'll be there for the Pool Nation Awards. HASA will have an after party that night. And I will be a part of the Pool Nation Conference. I'll be doing 3 different chemistry classes. That will be on Thursday and Friday. But I think that probably some of the biggest ones coming up going into next year, more, I guess, nationwide, we will be at the Mid-America Pool and Spa Show in January 13th and 15th. We'll be at the Southeast Pool and Spa Show. That's in Nashville on the 21st, 23rd of January. And of course, we'll be at Atlantic City, the Pool and Spa Show, which is the 27th through the 29th. Big one for us coming up is the Western Pool and Spa Show, which this year is going to be February. It's actually going to be the weekend of Valentine's Day. So it's going to go the 12th through the 14th. But the really cool thing about that is that we now are, we did it for the first time last year where we had a fundraising event, a concert. That was at a place called the Ovation Center, which was just a few blocks away from where the show is at the convention center. We had a tribute band then. It was the Queen tribute band last year. So we are actually now working with the Western Pool and Spa Show, working with Heritage, working with PHTA, Step Into Swim. And we're going to have there's going to be a concert slash party. And this one's going to be on Thursday. So the opening night of the show, February 12th, and it's going to start at 7 p.m. It'll go 7 to 10 p.m. We're going to have a tribute band, and the name of the band is called Departure. And they are a Journey, 80s Journey, Steve Perry fans. Come to that. The ticket price, I think, is $20. Tickets are not on sale yet. You'll soon be seeing ads for that in the trades and so forth, and in the Ibsen publications and everywhere. So be looking forward to that. We'll also be at the Southwest Pool and Spa Show later that week of February, or the following week. We'll be in Florida at the Everything Under the Sun. So lots of shows, plus all the regional things going on. We're out there. We continue to teach Bob Lowry's Pool Chemistry for Service Pros. We've got a new course on, and I think I want to talk about this something if we haven't. I think we might have talked about this already some, but how to prevent algae without using an algicide. That's a good one. That's a course we have. That's a pretty popular one. And then we have courses on the LSI, understanding the LSI better. and chloramines. So lots out there. Look for us at the trade shows. If you're going to a particular one, yeah, it'd be great. We look forward to seeing you.
Yeah, and they can pick up the HASA 3D keychains.
Yes. Well, we have the HASA 3D keychains. We also have a thing now where you can take a survey. And if you come into to our booth at any trade show, we'll have a kiosk set up. You can come and you can take a survey on what type of a pool owner you would be based on how you would treat your own pool. It's very fun. It takes about a minute or two to take the survey. But depending on the type of pool owner you were, we have these little 3D characters made by the same person who made our 3D keychains. And you'll actually get one of those little 3D characters, which are very cool, at the trade shows. So
yeah, great. And
right.
I think I know the person that makes those, but I won't say here.
Yeah, yeah. I believe he's related to you in some
Right?
way.
All right, thanks, Terry.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, David.
And if you're interested in other episodes, you can, of course, find those by going to my website, swimmingpoollearning.com. On the banner, click on the podcast icon. There'll be a drop-down menu of over 1,700 podcasts for you as well. And if you're interested in the coaching program that I offer, you can learn more at poolguycoaching.com. Thanks for listening to this podcast. Have a great rest of your week, and God bless. This episode is brought to you by HASA, providing products that deliver clean, healthy water for every aspect of everyday life. The bottom feeder battery-powered vacuum system, portable, powerful, and only weighs 12 pounds. And Skimmer. Get Skimmer, America's #1 pool service software. Podcast listeners can try Skimmer for free at getskimmer.com/poolguy.